Hi, I am Gwen Fiona Mill S. Aceves, and I am tasked to report an article about the multi-grade education system in the Philippines. From researching, I have found a 2015 study about the delights and difficulties of multi-grade teachers in rural schools of San Jose District, San Jose, Tarlac, written by Monet Capiendo Lapus, a public school elementary teacher in San Jose District in San Jose, Tarlac, Philippines. This town is located at Sitio Padlana, Barangay Lubigan, San Jose, Tarlac. It hosts the well-known Monasterio de Tarlac, a place where one can find peace to refresh the soul and spirit and bond his heart with the beauty of Mother Nature. Along these mountain ranges lie the rustic hamlets of multigrade pupils who are eager to learn from their multigrade teachers. In this study, three teachers from 10 multigrade schools were taken as respondents who spent more than 5 years teaching in the remote schools in San Jose, Tarlac. According to the study, the first teacher, case 1, experiences daily difficulties such as forcing to walk the 2-hour distance or hitching in a dump trucks, in an army vehicles, or in pogpogs, a small farm tractor for rice harvest. Moreover, the room where case 1 holds her classes was small, dusty, lacked adequate ventilation. Chairs were scattered and some were already nearing condemnation. Based on the article, the old cabinet contained few pieces of books. Some were worn out and others were torn. It was also stated that the teacher observed the children lacked proper hygiene. She also encountered uncooperative parents and frequent absences, especially during harvest time because pupils had to go for labor. Some pupils went to school without eating or without food packed for the lunch. Some pupils had to stay home to take care of their siblings. Since pupils did not go to school regularly, their academic performance was poor. Like other multi-grade teachers, Case 2 had difficulties going to and from the mountain. But to him, all the pains of being a multi-grade teacher pay off when he sees his children improve from being ignorant to become enlightened. The delights of Case 2 also revolve around using his talents in sports as he plays coach to his pupils in competitions. They emerged as the champion in swimming in the interdistrict level for boys and girls category in 2011. They qualified for the cluster meet, but to their dismay, they were unable to join because aside from having inadequate budget, almost all his players had no birth certificate during that time. During his first day in school, he observed few children coming to school since they had to work in the fields. Case 2 could hardly move from one topic to another since his pupils came and went. They could not master basic skills because they only went to school if they were not hired to do labor. Same in case 1, case 2 observed that his children also came to school untidy. They did not take a bath nor change their clothes and came without packed lunch. KS3 experienced the same problems that teachers in multi-grade schools in remote villages have had, such as long hikes, unkept children, and absentee pupils. But what stood out to be her difficulty was the scarcity of teaching materials, which makes teaching so hard, especially because she is handling 3 grade levels in one class. What compounded her problem were the extremely limited resources that parents can provide, such as notebook or paper and something to spend to pencil. The problems of Keister were not only related to teaching strategies and materials. She experienced being suspected as a rebel by an army man and poked a gun on her. There was also a time when the man suddenly appeared and tried to seize and sexually assaulted her. Oftentimes, she could not sleep well too. There were also many times too that she saw snakes on her way up and down the mountains. But she did not succumb to these fears and difficulties. Multi-grade teaching had set the life direction of K3 to the extent of building a permanent dwelling there. She is now a member of the community where she teaches. Reading all those cases had made me realize that being a multi-grade teacher is really difficult. especially for those teachers who quickly become emotional because they are unable to provide the students with the individual care and the attention they need. Though teachers in the studies were aware of what could be done to boost students' learning, they were unable to do it due to time constraint and lack of material resources. Teachers encounter not only the difficulty of dealing with a multi-grade structured class, but also additional restraints such as infrequent supervision and bad living conditions. And maybe this is the reason why teachers are reluctant to the concept of multi-grade teaching. But that's just my opinion. And maybe that's the reason why they diminish their passion for that profession. Perhaps this is why it is difficult to attract educators for these types of profession and keep those that are hired. That is why government should create a plan to help and meet the needs of children in the far-flung areas. Since most of the respondents' major problem is the inadequate budget, limited resources, and scarcity of teaching materials, I've come up an action to solve these major problems by coordinating with the school administrators and discuss ways to help teachers with these scenarios by enabling program implementers, decision makers, budget officers, and planners at the various levels of TEPED governance to learn which strategies work and what needs to be improved. The discussion will include ways to improve the facilities and structures. With regards to students absentee, I have come up a rule that will avoid students' absence. For the resources, I propose to have a project called Kids for the Kids. This will provide children and their family with basic learning kits consisting of essential writing and art materials, including a box of crayons, three sets of pencils with a sharpener and eraser, a pack of bond paper, a pack of colored paper, and an expanding envelope bag, as well as age-appropriate books depending on the age of the child receiving the kit. With this, at least the pupils are given a good opportunity to develop themselves and unlock their potential for growth and productivity. And that would be all. Thank you for listening.